Hey there, welcome to week 4 of COM 416 propaganda. Students, I have to tell you, I really enjoyed reading your film reviews, and I'm starting to get to know you because of your good writing and your deep investment in this class. You can see in week 4, we're starting the second chunk of this course. It's called Shaping Reality. So we're going to be looking over the next 4 weeks at how propaganda shapes reality through journalism and public relations, patriotism and nationalism, election propaganda, and then the really dark stuff. One of the things that's exciting is that now you get to explore Leap 2, right? And Leap 2 is a really cool project, so I want to introduce it to you because it's just so awesome. You're going to work in a team of 3 or 4 people, and you're going to create a 60-minute podcast where you share insights and analyze propaganda on this theme of shaping reality. You have a lot of freedom, and you have a lot of moving parts to this assignment. And you can see here, I've created those team assignments, so your team is pretty much set. You're going to divide and conquer to get this work done, taking on the roles and responsibilities of producer and host, engineer, and experts. So you're going to be producing on a platform, a professional platform called Riverside FM. It's a really easy to use platform, but boy, does it produce magnificent podcasts. So we're upping the game in terms of producing something pretty professional. So I'd like you to look over the specifications of this assignment. You can see that one of the things you have to do to produce your 60-minute podcast is produce show notes that go along with the podcast. And here you can see how I'm evaluating your podcast. Do you explore a focused angle on 21st century propaganda? Do you model the process of analyzing propaganda? Is your format lively, engaging, and is it a quality production? And have you composed a reflective email about the process of completing this project? It has research components, collaboration components, and you're submitting it to the Padlet wall. This is not the kind of project that can be done in one night. So that's why I'm inviting you to start working on it now. So now this week, we take on the topic of propaganda and news and journalism by reading a bit of the classic book, and it's an absolutely powerful work by the father of public relations who explains propaganda's role in a democracy. Then we're going to go back into the history of fake news and talk about where that concept came from. Just 10 years of history, but a pretty interesting one. If you like, you can read my chapter from my book, Mind Over Media, about teaching about fake news and all the different kinds of fake news that are part of the landscape right now. And then, of course, I want you to find an example of government propaganda. We're talking about news and journalism. The government is a major purveyor of propaganda. So you'll find an example, you'll put it on the slide deck, and we'll see all the different kinds of examples that you can generate. If you choose, you can find and read a story about government propaganda, looking at the kinds of themes that often emerge on the topic. And I wouldn't be a responsible teacher if I didn't give you the chance to learn about official government propaganda that comes from organizations like the Voice of America, Russia's RT, and even the BBC, right? So getting a chance to look at government-sponsored news organizations from around the world, learning a little bit about what makes them tick, and then getting a chance to comment on the pros and cons of that government-sponsored propaganda. Now, finally, the most radical perspective on propaganda comes from Noam Chomsky, a distinguished linguist and scholar. And so we'll learn a little bit about his propaganda model of news, and I'll give you a chance to weigh in on that as well. Remember that in this class, you need to earn 35 points a week. You have some choices around how to complete this activity, but do reach out to your teammates and get started on Leap 2. That'll make me feel much more confident that your Leap 2 projects will blow me away. Anyway, thanks for being part of this class. Reach out to me if you need to chat, if you've got questions, concerns, or you want some help with brainstorming on your Leap 2 project. I'm happy to help. See you later. Bye-bye.